Hey everyone, and welcome. Let's dive right into today's explainer. We are unpacking Rubrik's massive Q1 performance for fiscal year 2027. In a market where literally everyone is talking about AI right now, we're going to separate the hype from the actual execution. We're going to trace what we call Rubrik's momentum arc, basically connecting their huge financial metrics directly to the cutting-edge autonomous AI security tech that's actually driving them. It's super fascinating, and we're going to see exactly how data protection is evolving right before our eyes.
Here is how we're going to break things down today. First up, a record first quarter. Second, the AI security vision. Third, expanding the ecosystem. And finally, we'll wrap up with the fiscal 2027 outlook.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, a record first quarter. Time to get into those Q1 financials.
Wow, just wow. $1.57 billion. That is the sheer scale of this quarter, anchored right there by their subscription annual recurring revenue at the end of Q1. In the enterprise software world, maintaining a 32% year-over-year growth rate after you've already crossed the billion-dollar mark, that is incredibly difficult to pull off. It's kind of like trying to speed up a massive freight train, and it speaks volumes about the sheer market demand for their platform.
Now let's pause and unpack the jargon for a second. What exactly is subscription ARR? For a modern software business, this metric is the absolute lifeblood. It's the ultimate proof of a scalable architecture. By stripping away those one-time ad hoc sales, this metric proves that customers aren't just making a single one-off purchase. They are structurally locking into a long-term, predictable defense strategy.
In top-line acceleration, it's seriously surging too. Total revenue jumped from $278.5 million in Q1 of fiscal 2026 all the way up to $387.1 million this quarter. That is a massive 39% year-over-year leap. Whenever you see overall revenue actually outpacing subscription ARR growth, it's a huge signal. It shows immense coordinated execution across their entire global revenue organization.
Now, you might be thinking, sure, they're growing fast, but are they just burning through cash to do it? Well, actually, no. Free cash flow more than doubled. It jumped from $33.3 million a year ago to $73.6 million in Q1. Hitting a 19% free cash flow margin proves they're driving highly durable growth alongside some serious operating leverage.
So who is actually driving all of this scale? Rubrik now boasts 2,946 customers who are contributing $100,000 or more in subscription ARR. That's a 24% year-over-year jump, which tells us that the world's largest enterprises are increasingly trusting Rubrik with these massive six-figure mission-critical deployments.
Moving right along to Section 2, the AI security vision. Let's pivot from the money to the strategic platform, making those numbers a reality. Listen to how CEO Bipul Sinha frames this whole growth trajectory. He says, "We are more confident than ever that we are in the early innings of the AI acceleration opportunity." This is crucial. It tells us that AI isn't just some shiny peripheral feature for them. It's the core engine of their long-term strategy, putting them right at the cutting edge of enterprise AI deployment. To really get their approach, we have to talk about agentic cyber resilience. Sounds a bit sci-fi, right? But look, we are entering an era where autonomous AI agents are executing actions all across enterprise networks, which, let's be honest, is slightly terrifying if it's left totally unchecked. Rubrik's platform brings together data, identity, and AI to automatically audit these agents and apply real-time guardrails to keep them in check. So how does this translate into actual tangible products? Well, through Project Glasswing, they're using Anthropic's Frontier AI for breach response, and they're launching Rubrik Agent Cloud for Google's Gemini. But the real standout here is Sage, the semantic AI governance engine. Sage gives companies an agent rewind capability. Think about that for a second. If an autonomous AI goes rogue and messes up critical data, Agent Rewind is your instant undo button. It is a massive safety net for any enterprise trying to adopt AI.
Okay, on to Section 3, expanding the ecosystem. Let's look at how they are embedding these defenses everywhere. These strategic expansions are a huge deal. They launched immutable air-gapped backups for Google Workspace, so protecting Gmail and Drive. They announced a deep integration with Microsoft Defender that connects identity threat detection with automated identity rollback that literally cuts response times from days down to mere hours. Oh, and they were selected as a preferred cybersecurity provider by the American Hospital Association, bringing this cyber resilience bundle to nearly 5,000 hospitals. This kind of ubiquitous coverage across the tools businesses use every single day is exactly why they have that killer 120% net retention rate.
But, beyond all the software, Rubrik is actively cultivating the human element too. They just launched a dedicated community platform with practitioner-authored playbooks, plus these new regional huddles for resilience. They are really proving that they want to build a deep, connected ecosystem of practitioners, not just sell software and walk away.
And that brings us to our final phase today, Section 4, the Fiscal 2027 Outlook. Let's talk forward guidance. Because Q1 was such a blowout, leadership has actually gone ahead and raised their expectations across the board. While Q2 targets up to $397 million in revenue, the full-year FY 2027 outlook is where things get really interesting. They've raised guidance to target up to $1.648 billion in total revenue, and crucially, up to $1.862 billion in subscription AR. They are rapidly, and I mean rapidly, approaching that $2 billion recurring revenue tier.
Let's circle back to profitability for a second because this is wild. In Q1, their subscription ARR contribution margin hit 13.2%, which is up from 8% a year prior. For the full year, they project that margin to expand to approximately 14%, meaning as Rubrik scales toward that massive $1.6 billion total revenue mark, their operating leverage isn't stalling out. Their financial engine is actually actively becoming more efficient as it grows.
So, what does this all mean? The core takeaway sits squarely right here at the intersection of data, identity, and AI. Rubrik's 32% ARR growth and their massive free cash flow generation, they are absolutely no accident. They are the direct result of positioning themselves exactly where traditional data protection meets the explosive, complex reality of enterprise AI. They aren't just reacting to the market, they are literally building the guardrails for the future of autonomous business operations. I want to leave you all with a provocative thought, something to really consider about your own networks. The material we've unpacked today paints a very, very clear picture of where enterprise technology is headed. So, as autonomous AI agents become the new, unavoidable standard, ask yourself, does your organization currently have the capability to instantly rewind and recover when an AI-driven breach or mistake inevitably happens? Because if the answer is no, well, it might just be time to take a much closer look at your cyber resilience strategy. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep learning.